Hi everyone, thank you very much for stopping by and returning to the Old World. The Magic Almanac has not been with us long, but already the community is gnashing its teeth. Let's have a look at the reasons why. So fundamentally, we've known for a while that the magic phase was disappearing and spells would be integrated into the remaining 4 phases of the game: strategy, movement, shooting, and close combat. But what we didn't know is exactly how spells were going to be cast. We thought, I think, as a community, that the days of having a resource to manage in the form of dispel and casting dice was going to be gone, but we've now had confirmation of that. And we've also had confirmation as to how spells are going to be cast. And it's simple: roll 2d6, add your magic level, and that gives you a score, beat the casting value of the spell, and Bob's your uncle, and your aunt, you're sorted. And on the face of it, this does actually simplify how the game is going to be played, certainly when it comes to magic. There's not a resource to husband, decisions to be made about whether to try for that dispel or not. Attempts to bring out the dispel dice will be limited because, well, dispels are going to be quite different by the looks of it. So that minigame has departed. But then there may also be the lack of choice within spellcasting. So in 8th edition, spells normally had a number of different levels. You could try and aim for bigger and more powerful versions of the spell. So Fireball, for example, I think had 3 different variants, increasingly powerful as they went up the grades. Now it's important to note we've only seen the signature spells at this point, but there is no indication that there is that risk-reward choice of throwing more dice at a spell to try and get more damage off. And some people are unhappy about that. They want to make those sort of choices. However, at the other end of the spectrum, there's equally people saying actually that's a good thing, because one of the blights of 8th edition was take the big doom spell, take the mightiest version of the doom spell you could get, chuck as many dice as you can at it, and see what happens. Get the double 6, particularly if you've got special rules that help you find those double 6s, then job's a good one. Of course, that wouldn't be possible under the new rules because it looks like, subject to any special rules we don't know about yet, you're only rolling 2d6 for any particular spell. So even if there were options to gear up the spells, that fishing for double 6s would itself be much more difficult. Essentially what we're looking at here is 9th edition Warhammer 40,000 spellcasting. Relatively straightforward process, without all the minigame shenanigans that we've come to know and in some cases love from Warhammer Fantasy. Overall, the way Magic's being treated is a huge step change. It's completely different from anything we've really seen before as part of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So I understand why people are unhappy. We were promised a game that was drawing heavily from previous editions, and this is something which is definitely out of step with those previous editions of Warhammer Fantasy. However, and it's a big however that I think I need to keep coming back to across this video and others, is that we've not seen the full rules yet. We've seen some of the rules and we've seen a description of some of the rules. So it'll be interesting to see when the game's actually released what things look like in the round and how it plays out on the tabletop. It may just be a case that once we get used to the new style of play that actually it turns out to be some pretty popular choices and a well-worked gaming system overall. I do have a couple of issues around some of the choices made from what we've seen so far. I think whilst they're simplifying, they're also adding unnecessary detail. For example, different ranges to dispel spells depending on the level of mage. I'm not sure that's a fantastic idea. And I do also think that spells may get a little bit lost, certainly take a bit of getting used to the idea of different spells at different times in different phases. That will take quite a bit of getting used to, particularly for those players who haven't played games where that is a thing. Again, looking at game systems such as Warhammer 40,000. So overall, Magic is looking quite different, and the community is not fully supportive of the changes that have been suggested. However, time will tell as to whether those people are right or not, and whether Games Workshop have made an error. Overall, I remain quietly pleased with what we're seeing over the course of the various almanacs. It looks like the system, based on what we've seen, is reasonably solid. But as I say, time will tell once the full rules are released in early 2024. Do you have any particular views on this? The debate raging within the community around whether the Magic rules are effective or not. Do let me know down in the comments below, although let's try and, keep it nice. Thank you very much for listening. I am Return to the Old World. Have a great day.